Hey guys, welcome back to a new weekly reading vlog. So I'm just checking in because I'm about to do a spot of reading. It's 5 p.m. I'm looking very disheveled because I just had a little bit of a nap, I can't lie. But this week I'm focusing on 2 books in particular that I definitely want to get read, and then when I finish one of them I will pick up a third, and I don't anticipate finishing that by the end of the week. So the first book I'm going to be reading is Buddy Read with Kelsey, also known as KJ Sutton, and that is Kingdom of Flesh and Fire by Jennifer L. Armentrout. This is the second book in the Blood and Ash series. It is a high fantasy romance with paranormal elements, and in the first book we are following a girl called Poppy who is the maiden, and that means that she is never to be looked upon, never to be touched, and she isn't allowed to speak to people, and on her 19th birthday she will go through her ascension and be given to the gods. Our male perspective is Hawk, who is a guard, and he has been tasked with guarding Poppy until her ascension. The fantasy elements in here are very ambiguous and vague throughout the beginning. I can't even really tell you what they are because it does come, like, it is actually revealed really late in the book, but there is like a whole range. There's multiple paranormal elements in here, and the end of the first book was not a cliffhanger, but it ended on like a whole oh shit moment. And so far, because I started this last night, I'm 28 pages into it, so far the story pretty much just picks up where it left off, and we have like a little bit of a recap about the things that Poppy learned, because there's like so many dramatic plot twists at the end. So there's like a recap of all of that stuff, which normally I would need, but at the moment I don't, because I only finished the first book like 2-3 weeks ago maybe. So yeah, this is what I'm reading for now. Kelsey is way ahead of me. She's over page 100, so I'm kind of aiming for page 200 today, and then when I do go to page 200 I'll be taking it at like 100 pages a day and reading another book alongside it. But yeah, I just thought I would get this show on the road, because if I don't just randomly whip out my camera on a Monday and say here's the start of a new vlog, then I'm just real lazy about it for the rest of the week. I'm also making a full spoilery reading vlog on this as well, so if you guys have read this and you want my full like spoilery thoughts of everything that is happening, that video will be coming to you before the end of the month, but not for a couple of weeks because I'm still doing like end of year content and stuff for now. So I'm gonna go and read for around an hour before I make some food, and I will check in with you guys when I have anything interesting to say.
Why am I so afraid just to say hello? Hey. Or to pick up the phone just to say what is up? It's been a long time and I've been thinking, give you a call to shoot the shit and fill you in, we're reminiscing. Yeah. On the dumb things we did when we were only little children.
Hey guys, so I am dropping the ball on vlogging this week, and also on reading as well a little bit. I mean, I have been reading and I will get into some updates in just a second, but I feel like last week I was heavy on productivity. I was really into making videos and stuff, and then this week, I mean, it's only Wednesday. Is it only Wednesday? No, it's Thursday. It's Thursday, right? Today will be my last day of all of the videos that I've posted in a row, so my steam is running out quite a bit. I'm just about to film my best books of the year video, then edit it and have it uploaded for tonight, because I just could not be bothered preparing that in advance. I've just had lots of little things going on. Like last week I told you my car needed fixing so that it would pass its MOT. My dad did that for me. My dad fixes my car all the time. He used to be a mechanic, so he fixed that, ran it in for its MOT, and then I had to go and pick that up. Also, Christmas decorations went down yesterday, which I'm really sad about because I really love my Christmas tree, especially this year. It just made the room so much more cozy. But aside from that, you know, I haven't actually been doing that much. I haven't even been reading that much, but I just feel like this week I was just seems to be slipping away from me with not much happening. But in terms of reading, I have read quite a bit. I can't remember where I was up to on Monday, but I'm on page 278 of Kingdom of Flesh and Fire by Jennifer L. Armentrout. Really enjoying this, but I don't think it's going to be a 5-star read for me, which is sad because the main character Poppy just keeps, I was gonna say flip-flopping, but she isn't flip-flopping. She's just not believing anything that's happening to her, because we have quite a few like plot twists and things revealed in the first book, and then we get to the second book and she's kind of stuck in the mindset of the things that happened in the first book. She's kind of not applying context to the situation. Also, also being really stubborn, and she is doing this to protect herself, like emotionally, but it's frustrating to read from, especially when it is really obvious how the other character in the situation feels and like his motives and the reasons why he does what he does, kind of thing. So yeah, that is really frustrating, especially because it is holding up the romantic elements of the plot in the sake of like drawing out the angst and things like that, when I'd rather just have, I don't know, I feel I really do like angst and drama, especially in romance, but I also like how Sarah J Maas does it in the A Court of Thorns and Roses series, and all of her series actually, I think, where you have the angst as the romance is developing, but as soon as it becomes a romance, it kind of stays as a romance, and the characters then have other problems that they have to face, but they do it as a couple, as opposed to having fantasy problems to face and also relationship problems to face. And I do like it done both ways, because the downside of it being done the way Sarah J Maas does it is that my interest in the romance starts to wane a little bit when it is like a fully established relationship and it's clear that nothing is ever going to happen to that relationship, because I very much enjoy kind of like the build up, the sexual tension and the angst more, but then in some cases the angst is just a little bit too drawn out. So enjoying this. I think Kelsey is a little bit behind me, so I'm not sure if I will be picking this up today, but if I am, I think I'm going to aim for like page 400. I am also reading another book alongside this, one that I want to finish really soon, but I haven't been reading like my daily page goal, so I'm trying to read like 100 pages of this and then 40 to 50 pages of this a day, but I'm not getting that far. And that one is Dark Fever by Karen Marie Moning. This is the first book in the Fever series. A lot of you guys have been screaming at me to read this series since I read Crescent City, which was like a year ago now, and I was a little bit dubious about picking it up because it is more like a standard paranormal romance in the format of things like True Blood and, you know, like really long paranormal slash fantasy romance series with really short installments, which isn't my favorite personally, because I find with series like this they are kind of intended to be read in rapid fire, so you're supposed to like binge quite a few of them, and it's just really not how I read. And also when series are so long, then you are definitely going to be running into quite a few low points in the series. Like the amount of times people have said to me like, this series is really good until this book, and then there's still 5 more books to go. And I'm a completionist, so I really like finishing series. You guys have also warned me that the first book in this series is not that great either, like the rest are better. And considering I went into this with that mentality, I'm enjoying this book a lot more than I expected to. So this follows a girl called Mac. I believe she's 22. She is from the US, and her sister went to study abroad in Ireland and was murdered. So the main character travels to Ireland to try and figure out what happened to her sister, and she encounters the world of the Fae. She finds out that her and her sister were seers, which means that they can see through the glamours of the Fae, and before she came to Ireland she had no knowledge of this at all. So all of this and the opening of the like paranormal supernatural world is coming as a big surprise to her. Now, one of the things that I was surprised about going into this is that the fantasy does seem to be quite well developed. Like we have whole passages in here that is descriptions of the fantasy elements, and then the prologue goes quite into like the world of the Fae, and I was definitely expecting something like True Blood when I started this, which you guys know I'm like 4 books deep into that series, or 5 books deep, and I'm not having a great time. There's elements that I enjoy, but I just find it ridiculous, and you guys really wanted to know what I thought of the main character in here based on my feelings of Suki, and let me tell you, I do not dislike this main character as much as I dislike Suki Stackhouse. The main character in here, there are elements of her that I don't like, and this was written in, I think it was 2006, and you can tell because the character just wears some really ridiculous things. Like it's 2007 and she wears complete outfits that are different shades of pink, and just like personally, I don't love pink. You won't see me wearing pink very often. I say as I'm wearing like entirely pink makeup. Wearing one pink item, maybe like a nude item or like a pale pink, even if you want to go bright pink, if it's one item of clothing then fair, but this character wears entire outfits constructed of different shades of pink, and she goes into detail about what the different shades are and how every item is a different shade. And I think at the minute where I'm up to, she's wearing like metallic sandals with a metallic band, and I'm like, oh, this just screams like early 2000s, which makes me cringe a little bit, but you know, I'm willing to get past it because of the time that this book was written. But yeah, otherwise I'm really enjoying this. There's a bookshop in here, and the owner of the bookshop is quite intriguing, and I'm interested to see where this book goes. It reads really quickly as well. When I pick it up, I'm flying through it. It's just I'm not picking it up all that often. So that's where I'm at with reading. But I saw my postman today for the first time since New Year's Eve, and he delivered this to me, which Linda messaged me last night, the lovely, the wonderful Linda, and said that she had actually purchased the last thing that was on my wish list, and honestly shouldn't have even been there, but my dumbass added something to my wish list before I had closed it. So Linda went to the trouble of purchasing me something, so let me get the note out. Becca, I have no idea what this book is, but you added it to your wish list, so you shall have it. Stop it, Linda. It's a good excuse for me to use my Amazon Prime UK before I end it. Thank you so much, Linda. And for you to go to the trouble of having Prime just to send things to people in the UK is really going above and beyond. But this is A Touch of Darkness by Scarlett St. Clair. Honestly, I saw this in Ashley from Frolic Through Fiction's Christmas book haul, and it was something that was sent to her from her wish list, and it is a Hades and Persephone retelling, I think a fantasy romance one, which, you know, Hades and Persephone fantasy romance retelling, I'm absolutely there. This is also an indie book as well, and you guys know I love me an indie romance. Even just on the front of this book it says, as she struggles to sow the seeds of her freedom, love for the god of the dead grows and it's forbidden. So I'm sold already. Persephone is the goddess of spring by title only. The truth is, since she was a little girl, flowers have shriveled at her touch. After moving to New Athens, she hopes to lead an unassuming life disguised as a mortal journalist. Hades, god of the dead, has built a gambling empire in the mortal world, and his favourite bets are rumoured to be impossible. After a chance encounter with Hades, Persephone finds herself in a contract with the god of the dead, and the terms are impossible. Persephone must create life in the underworld or lose her freedom forever. The bet does more than expose Persephone's failure as a goddess, however, as she struggles to sow the seeds of her freedom, love for the god of the dead grows, and it is forbidden, and I am excited. So yeah, thank you so much, Linda, for this. Honestly, I have so much indie fantasy romance at the minute. Also, don't know if I'm allowed to tell you details yet, but there is some stuff coming up in February that's happening. I have so much planned for February, honestly, because A Court of Silver Flames is released in February as well. Really wish I had an arc of that, but as far as I'm aware, they don't exist, and I'm sad about it. But yeah, lots of fantasy romance content, fingers crossed, in February. I will have to read Dawn Shard and also Rhythm of War, or at least start Rhythm of War in February. But aside from that, I'm hoping to get my romance on, and I'm really excited.
We fell in love in the winter, but I miss you most in the fall.
I'm just popping in briefly. It's like, is it 1 PM? I don't have my watch on. But I just finished Dark Fever by Karen Marie Moning. I'm taking a day off today because I've just finished my, was it 10 days in a row of videos it ended up being? It's only supposed to be like the first week of January, but then we have the stuff at like the end of the month and like where my regular schedule falls as well. So I've just finished my 10-day run, and I'm not going back to doing anything candle related until Monday. And before I even open my shop, I'm going to start my accounts and my tax returns and stuff. So I don't have anything to do today. Tomorrow I'll be filming, and Sunday I'll be having a day off as well. Honestly, just living my best life. Although I finished this book, filled in my spreadsheet, and now I'm like, what do I do now? There's stuff I could do, but I just feel like finding the motivation, especially when you've started your day slow, is difficult. But Dark Fever by Karen Marie Moning, this was a gift from Linda, who just gifted me A Touch of Darkness. I haven't even moved anything since I was here talking to you guys yesterday. So thank you so much, Linda, for sending this to me. And also, this was my Patreon pick for December. I started it at the end of the month and didn't quite finish it, and the patron that picked this for me was Linda as well, so thank you once again. I gave this 3 stars. I have been told, as I believe I mentioned yesterday, that the first book in this series isn't great, which it isn't amazing, but I did really enjoy it. I was fully expecting this to be along the same veins of like the Sookie Stackhouse series, but I actually enjoyed this. There is a fantasy, like a good fantasy element under here. It's kind of written in the style of like typical paranormal romance, but it has a better plot, a better fantasy element. And my issue, I'm just going to keep comparing it to Sookie Stackhouse, and I know they're completely different, but that is like the only real example of paranormal romance I have that I've read in like the last decade. So there's things in that I just don't really like. They don't make sense. Things are weird, and people keep saying like, oh, it doesn't make sense in book 2, but it makes sense in book 7, and I'm like, I'm sorry, that's just not good enough. But this one, it made sense. It's well constructed. I enjoyed it. I don't adore the main character, but I don't find her as annoying as I expected to, based on what you guys had said about her. And yeah, 3 stars. I'm really excited to continue with this series, although I do feel very betrayed because I don't think anybody told, like, I knew this was a long series and I thought it was like 12 books long, which it may be, but then I was looking on Amazon and it said entire series 1 to 7. But then when I went onto Goodreads, there's a book in this series being published this year, so I feel very betrayed about that. I also knew that there was a spin-off series of this, but when I was going through the series order, the kind of format of the names changes. So like this one's called Dark Fever, then you have Blood Fever, then Fey Fever. I think you get to around book 6 and it's called Iced, and then the next one's called Burned, and they seem to follow a different main character, so I thought that was the spin-off and it was just listed as like a continuation of the same series. But apparently there's something called the Highlander series, which comes up in related series, so I think it's a spin-off. It may not be a direct spin-off, but that's 12 books long as well. So you guys have thoroughly betrayed me with this, because now I'm sucked into a series which, if the Highlander series is part of it as well, is like at least 24 books long. But I did thoroughly enjoy this. I'm excited to see more about Jericho because there's like a whole ton of mystery surrounding a lot of things in here, but him especially, and I had some pretty like dubious feelings about him starting off. I do like his character though, and his juxtaposition with Mac, because he's like very no nonsense, let's get to business, let's do the thing that we're trying to do kind of guy, and she's very like airy fairy, like stereotypical, loves pink, is blonde at the start of the book, is really interested in things like fashion, doesn't believe in this fantastical world, and she also doesn't care about saving it. She just wants to get the revenge that she's seeking for her sister, and that is it. So I really like their dynamic in here, and I'm interested to see how it develops, because this is like fantasy romance, but there's not really any romance in here. But yeah, 3 stars, really enjoyed it, and I will be continuing with that series. I don't know when, because now once again I've started a new series when I haven't finished any of the ones that I previously started. In 2021, I just really want to get my shit together. I don't want to be buying books, which I'm really going to try not to. With the exception of pre-orders, I am going to be doing an anticipated 2021 releases video towards the middle or end of the month, which to be fair, I don't even know what they are now, apart from obviously like A Court of Silver Flames and Empire of the Vampire. But yeah, I'm going to try not to buy books and really focus on reading series I've already started, reading books that I already own, clearing through my collection a little bit. I have moved a lot. I haven't finished, but I have moved a lot of books from these shelves over to the TBR cart that I just kind of want to read and unhaul. So that's what I want to be doing in 2021. Like, there's so much that I want to read, but I need to finish Stormlight before I can like kind of devote myself to anything that's even remotely intense. But I am currently reading Kingdom of Flesh and Fire still. This is still here from yesterday. I haven't picked it up because Kelsey hasn't caught up to me, but I'm on page 278 of this, so today I'm going to be looking at least 350 I think of this one. Would really like to have this finished by the end of the week, but we'll see if that happens. And then depending on Kelsey's reading speed as well, if she's still behind, I will be starting, not that one, I've already read that one, this one, Oathbringer Part 2, which is 750 pages. I've kind of scheduled my reading throughout the rest of the month, and while I would like to read another book alongside this, I'm anticipating that I will finish this like next Sunday. Like, I'm giving myself a good week to read this, because I do know that my pace definitely slows down. I mean, look at the font and stuff in here compared to the font in here. Like, this doesn't even have margins. It's like cram packed on there. So yeah, those are my reading plans for the rest of the day slash the rest of the week. As for what I'm doing aside from reading, I literally have no idea. I'm gonna work out. Oh, I'm gonna go and have a look at my planner and organize some stuff, and then I'm going to work out, and then I don't know, I want to paint the hallway this month, like in the next week or so, before I start going back to candles normally. But I am off on Sunday as well, so I may dedicate Sunday to doing that and take today as a chill day. But then when we get to Sunday, I'll say, oh, I'll take today as a chill day and I'll do it on Tuesday. I'm not sure. Might do some tidying or organizing. Might try and get some of my framed prints up on the print wall. But yeah, I'll be reading these 2 books from now until Sunday.
Red leaves are in the breeze of Nashville, and now I share this bed with someone new. Something's in the way the sunlight's hitting. It's got me thinking about you. Maybe it's the long nights and the short cold days, or the rate that the planets change position. Or maybe everything just has a time and place, and that's why you and I are out of
So this
season.
has been the laziest vlog known to man, and it's not going to get any more elaborate from this point. But to be fair, this week is like my week off work, and it hasn't been really, because what's happening is the weeks feel not necessarily really long, but it seems like things that I did like 3 days ago happened ages ago. So it was only Thursday that was my last day of my big like beginning of January content run, but that seems like ages ago now, and it was literally 3 days ago, and I have made and posted another video since then as well. So yeah, I've been quite lazy this week. Most of my updates have been from here because I've already been set up for filming. I've had nothing interesting to show you because outside of making videos, I've pretty much done nothing. But it's been a decent week. I'm back at work next week. I'm not opening or anything yet. I'm going to be doing admin. So I have my accounts, my tax return, and I'm gonna have a look at the website as well next week. So I'll probably work like maybe 3 half days, but I'm not doing a whole ton. I still have a little bit more time left. But the wrap up for this vlog is actually going to be pretty brief because I don't have much to tell you about the book. But before we get into the books, I want to crack open this little envelope that arrived today. So this is from Owlcrate. I believe it is a Christmas present because Owlcrate are super nice like that. Obviously it's like the 10th of January today, but everything coming to me from Owlcrate at the moment is quite delayed because of COVID delays, and then the UK has just left the EU as well, so I don't even want to know what the border is like now in customs with parcels. And then on top of that, with the UK going back into lockdown and having this new strain of COVID that spreads 70% faster, nobody likes the UK at the minute. Not that many people did anyway. So the borders and customs and everything has gotten even tighter since then. I still have 2 Owlcrates on their way to me. But yeah, I believe that this could be a Christmas gift because Owlcrate did send me a Christmas gift last year because I'm one of their reps. And it's just honestly just something that you would not expect and that I never expected, but is just such a nice thing to receive. Okay, so yes, we have 2 things in here. Let me take one out. The first one is this little Christmas card from the Owlcrate team. It says, "That's the thing about books, they let you travel without moving your feet," and that is a quote. And then on the back it says, "Wishing you a wonderful holiday season and a bookish new year with love, Team Owlcrate." So that's super cute. And the gift is this cute little winter coaster. It's so cute. So thank you so much, Owlcrate. I knew that it would just be like a little something, but honestly it's really nice that they even go to the trouble to do this. It's completely unnecessary, but I really appreciate it, so thank you so much, Owlcrate, for this. So in terms of the books I'm reading, I haven't finished anything. I'm still reading Kingdom of Flesh and Fire. I'm on page 380 of this. I'm not sure if I have checked in with you since I've reached page 380, but Kelsey is slacking and I'm waiting for her to catch up so that I can continue. But I think she is only a couple of chapters behind me now, which means that I will be picking this back up tomorrow, and I'm really excited because the place where I left it, I am so excited about. There is something, I thought there was going to be something in here. Surprised you guys weren't laughing at me. I mean, you probably were, but the thing that I thought was going to be in this book is not in this book. It's something completely different that I did not expect, that isn't even here yet, but I think that's the direction it's going, and I'm really excited to get to that. Although from what I've seen, I think it might actually be in the next book. But loving the things that are happening in the bit that I've just got past in here. And because I was waiting for Kelsey so that I could continue with this, I did pick up Oathbringer Part 2 like I said I was going to. I bent the cover. I was going to say I'm mad about it, but these books get really battered anyway just because of the size of them. Like if I try and hold that open there without cracking the spine, it literally opens that far. So yeah, these get all battered anyway, so I'm not that bothered. And I'm on page 196 of this. So this is the second half of Oathbringer, which is the 3rd book in the Stormlight archive. Brandon Sanderson's Cosmere, adult epic high fantasy. Not going to go into details about the plot because I've been reading this series pretty consistently. I think I only finished part 1 of this last week. And also it's the end of this vlog, so you'll get all the juicy details next week. But really enjoying this so far. The place where the book split this time was really good because all of the characters have kind of gone to do something that they were planning to do in the first half, and I've just found out something real interesting. It's still continuing to be Dalinar's book. We're delving into some secrets from Dalinar's past that's really interesting, especially the one that I just came across. Not loving the mission that everybody else is on, like Adolin, Kaladin and Shallan. I don't know, I'm just not enjoying their location right now. But I've read 120-ish pages today. I do this thing because, like I said, it's nearly 1 AM and I say, oh, I want to get to page, I think I wanted to be at page 215. I'm literally 18 pages away, but as soon as I decide that I'm tired and as soon as I get to my daily page goal, like when I get close to it, I just lose the will and I'm like, no, I'm going to bed. So I was actually thinking about doing this update tomorrow actually, but changed my mind last minute because if I leave it till tomorrow, I'll be annoyed at myself in the morning because I'll have to stop editing this to finish filming it. So that's where I'm up to with these. I wanted to have this finished this week. Sadly, it did not happen, but I have got 200 pages into this. So my goal for next week will be to finish this, and then a book off my January TBR, which I think maybe Year of the Witching, maybe, but we'll see how I feel next week because I have to at least finish this one first before I start something else. But that has been it for this week's vlog, guys. I hope you have enjoyed it. If you made it this far, I have no idea what this week's vlog contains. Honestly, it's just a little bit of a, I want to say whirlwind, but I just don't think anything particularly memorable has happened this week, so I'm not retaining any information. Also, Hamilton is doing, or he was doing zoomies, now he's chewing my rug, so if you heard some crashing, that was him. But I hope you've enjoyed this vlog if you made it this far. If you have, please don't forget to like if you liked it and subscribe if you wanna, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye.
Oh, you bite your friend like chocolate. You say you'll go where nobody knows, with guns hidden under our petticoats. We're never gonna quit it, no, we're never gonna quit it, no.